If 2021 wasn't your year, that's okay, because we have 2022 to make up for it. Today, I'm going to be revealing the formula I used to achieve all my goals in the past year and how you guys can apply this exact formula into your day-to-day life so that you can achieve all your goals in 2022. Some examples of some goals that I successfully ticked off my list last year include moving out, starting my own small business, and also financial goals such as saving and investing. Also, a brief summary about myself. If you don't know who I am already, my name is Brittany. I am 21 years old. I'm currently a student at university studying information systems, and I'm also getting my real estate license. In terms of my occupation, I am a content creator and I run my own small business. So now I'm going to get into this 5-step process that I use to achieve all my goals. And you guys might want to get a pen and paper out or your notepad out on your phone so that you can type as we go along, and you guys can get planning as you watch this video as well. This is going to be a Bible 5-step process that'll help you guys achieve any and every one of your goals for this year. So let's get started. So this first section is reflection. So I'm gonna throw you guys a series of prompts that I want you guys to write down and answer. So the first one is going to be, what goals did you have last year and how did you work towards them? Did these methods work for you? What have you learned in the previous year? How will you apply or build on this method? I also want you guys to note down how you guys felt after that year. I think we often focus so much on our goals that we forget how we feel, and that is something that I think is very important, because how you feel has a lot to do with how you perform and how you're going to feel about your goals as well, and how you approach them. And I've learned over time slowly how important that is, especially since everyone's day-to-day life is so busy, and your mental health is something that you need to look after. You need to look after yourself and how you feel, your physical health, your mental health. I think all of that is so important. I would often prioritize my goals over how I felt, and even if I was drained, burnt out, I felt really bad at the end of the day. I was like, what's the point of all of this if I don't feel fulfilled and if I don't feel happy? I want you guys to focus on that as well, how you feel and how we can make that better. Step 2, I want you guys to write down your intentions for the year. And this is a lot to do with planning, your aims, your overall goals just for 2022. I just want you to focus on this year in general, big or small, everything that you intend to happen and want to create and do. Write it all down. You can write it down in bullet point form, or if you want to write it in a paragraph so you can express yourself a little more and how you feel, etc. Any of those two options are totally fine, as long as you have it down on paper and date it for yourself so that you can reflect and look upon this in the following year. I think it's really important to set out your intentions for the year, because it's an overarching goal that covers everything, and it also is a storyline for what you intend on happening, what you want to happen, and it's almost like you're manifesting it into your life. You're writing it down, you're making it very clear what the overall picture is going to be, and then we can break that down after. Just take a moment right now to write down these intentions. Step 3, SWOT analysis. So I want you to do a SWOT analysis on yourself. I first found this method, I think, 2-3 years ago now, and it's worked really well for me. If you don't know what a SWOT analysis is, you cover your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and threats. And you can do a SWOT analysis on lots of different things, but we're going to be doing a SWOT analysis on ourselves. So I'm going to show you guys right now on the screen. This is the diagram that you want to have on your page. You can do this on a tablet, a device, whatever you find easier, but this is just what the layout looks like. For each of these categories, write about 3 to 5 dot points. What I really like about doing a SWOT analysis on yourself is that you can really break down your character and focus on these different areas that are good and are maybe not as good and need some improvement. So this really helps break that down. Some examples of what I would fill in is, for strengths, I would say that I'm very dedicated as a person. I put a lot of time into creating priority lists so that I make sure things are getting done. And then a weakness of mine would be time. So I feel like I don't have any boundaries when it comes to time. I don't know when I'm working, I don't know when I'm having leisure time, and that's something I need to work on there. So those are some examples for you guys. So take a moment now if you have anything in mind immediately to write down. If not, you guys can come back to this after. Step 4, goal setting. So I want you guys to write down your long-term goals and short-term goals. So long-term goals would be things that you want to achieve over the year, and then short-term goals would be anywhere between a month to 2 months. A long-term goal would be, I want to save X amount of money in 1 year's time. So by December, I want to have this amount of money saved in my bank account. And then a short-term goal is, I want to read 2 to 3 books in the next month. So write down these goals and separate them into 2 columns. So we have long-term and short-term. For my long-term goals, I also like to categorize these. You can categorize these things into family, health, finance, work related, anything like that, social. So have these subcategories. You can add more to that list that I just mentioned. Those are just a few examples of what I like to write, and then have these different subcategories so that you know that these are covering different areas of your life. I think it's hard to maintain balance nowadays because everyone's so busy. So by creating these different categories of goals, you're actually trying to hit off these different areas rather than just focusing purely on work, for example, or purely on your financial goals or purely on your social goals. By spreading your large goals into these categories, you can also see where you want to prioritize your time and maybe where you can also spend a bit more time. So next step is to break down your goals. Both for these large and smaller goals, you can do the same thing. So I like to do SMART goals. That's a really great way to start off. If you haven't heard of SMART goals before, it's a really great way to break down your goals so that you can actually see how to measure this goal and how to approach it, and also make sure that it's attainable. I'm going to explain to you guys right now what this means. So SMART goal covers 5 different areas for your goal. So S stands for specific, which means that you want to be very specific about what your goal is so that you know what you're working towards. Then we have the letter M, which stands for measurable. Can your goal be measured and tracked? You want to be able to keep tabs and see your progress on this goal. And you also want to be able to identify when that goal is complete. Then we have the letter A, which stands for attainable. An attainable goal is something that you can actually take actionable steps to reach that goal, and also ensures that those steps are within your reach. Then we have the letter R, which stands for relevant. So we want to make sure that this goal is actually attainable and not so far-fetched out of reach that we can't get to that point by the end of the year. Essentially, we have to make this goal realistic. Then we have the letter T, which stands for time. So we want to be able to set a time for ourselves where we're going to complete this goal, or maybe hit off and complete certain things within this larger goal at different points of the year. Again, that is SMART goals. We're talking about specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time. I also want to cover breaking down goals into the short term. So let's say we have our bigger picture in mind. I always like to think about the bigger picture and then work my way down from there, which is breaking down the goals. So again, SMART goals really help with that. After that, we also have to plan out how we're actually going to achieve our goals. So I like to look at things from a week-to-week basis or a month-to-month basis, depending on what that goal is and also what I intend on achieving by the end of the year. So I think it's very good to be aware of how long things might take, and also the steps that you can take to ensure that you're chipping away at these goals slowly throughout the year, because things take time, guys. Things don't just happen overnight. For example, saving is going to take time. You want to complete a project, that's going to take time as well. You want to learn something new, that is also going to take time. Everything takes time. It's about consistency and setting out the plans so that your intentions are there. Not just intentions, but you have to match that intention with actionables. For example, if we're talking about financial goals such as saving. So by the end of the year, we want to have saved X amount. Let's say we want to have saved $20,000. So by the end of the year, we want to have had $20,000 in our savings account, in our bank account, locked away. So what do we have to do in order to achieve that? Across 12 months of the year, what's 20 divided by 12? Oh my gosh, my math. Okay, so it's about 1,666.666666667. So you'd have to save roughly $1,667 every single month. Each week you'd have to be making that divided by 4, so about $417. By breaking that down, you have a clearer idea of, okay, how much I need to be making and how much I need to be saving in order to get to that $20,000 savings goal by the end of the year. Then we have budgeting and everything that comes into this. But the main point I want to get across here is that once you have an idea of what the bigger picture is, you can break this down and then see what you need to do in the short term in order to get to that end long-term goal. An exercise that you can continuously fill out and use again, which I'm going to show you guys right now on the screen. This is a method slash template I like to use to kind of keep myself in check, especially when I'm trying to have a work-life balance as a full-time student, studying different things and also trying to work at the same time and live life. It's been hard to juggle my time and make sure that I don't forget to live sometimes. So this is what I like to do. So break down each of your days into hours of sleep and then hours of work, morning habits, health activities, evening habit, and also a wind down period. If you would also like, you can also write some prompts or affirmations for the day as well. Some people really enjoy that. I feel like it's pretty nice because you like set out your intentions for the day, also how you want to feel. Again, mental health is really important, and I also think it's a great way to get things off your chest. This is something that I'd recommend you guys try out. It's something that I like to use, and a really simple template that you can follow on a day-to-day basis, a weekly basis if you don't have time to do this every day. You guys can always copy this down or take a screenshot so you can use it later. I'll try and link a PDF on a Google Doc or something that you guys can download too. To summarize what I covered really quickly, so what you have to do is look at the bigger picture and then break that down into smaller goals that you can complete on a month-to-month basis, and then even smaller than that would be on a week-to-week basis. This is important so you're able to work away at your goals slowly and at a reasonable pace rather than trying to go at it all at once. It makes that goal less overwhelming and also a lot more approachable rather than being something super unrealistic. Something super unreasonable would be like, I want to start a new business in the next few days. Like, that would be unreasonable. You haven't yet broken down what that looks like and also taken the right steps and time to kind of plan and flesh things out. So there's no rush to things. I think you have to really take your time when you do things so that you can be super intentional but also well prepared. Just flesh things out, you know? There's no rush to get anywhere. The race is against yourself. And I want to remind you guys, just like box yourself away when you're approaching your goals, because your goals are purely for yourself, not for anyone else. So go in with that intention, I think is super important. So the final step to my formula, step 5, which is going to be some prompts. These are some prompts for you guys to answer. So the first thing I want you guys to answer is, what are you currently grateful for? And then 3 to 5 things that will make you feel successful. And then I want you to envision that success and reaching that point. How do you want to feel at the end of the year? I'll write a few more and leave them down below for you guys if you want these extra prompts for other days of the week. Why I wanted to specifically ask these 3 different questions is because, first of all, I think we don't express enough gratitude in our day-to-day. And I think a lot of people are guilty of this. It's so much about the chase after what we don't have and so little about what we currently have. It seems so cliche, but I think it is honestly something that we should express more. I think as we reach for our goals this year, it's important to remember what we have already and the things around us, like family and friends, and not to forget about those things, because I think that's so easy to overlook when we're so focused on what we don't have and what we want in our lives. That is something I need to work on myself personally, and I feel like so many other people need to as well, or need that reminder. Then we had the 3 to 5 things that will make you feel successful. So why I added that in is because I think it's really important to envision yourself at that point of achieving that particular goal. For myself especially, like, I feel like that is so motivating when you can picture yourself at that point of, okay, like, you've achieved this goal and this is what it looks like in my mind. And the last thing I asked you guys is, how do you want to feel at the end of the year? So this has a lot to do with emotion and feeling. Why I think this last one is super important is because I want you guys to know how you want to feel at the end of the year, and make sure you focus on your emotions and how you are feeling, and make sure that you aren't sacrificing your mental health for your goals and the things that you're chasing after. That's something that I personally went the wrong way about, and I would change definitely nowadays. I think I want to focus a lot more on how I feel and not just the goal itself, and also shift that goal. If it's making me suffer in some kind of way, how can I fix that, or how can I change that? Because I think I was so blinded by my goals that I totally forgot that it's so much about the process and enjoying it and being challenged by it rather than getting to that end point. Everything's about the journey. It's about learning and experience. That's it from me and my 5-step formula that I used to achieve all my goals last year. I hope you guys found this useful and learned something from this. I have timestamps and everything, so if you want to go back and re-listen to a part, feel free to do so. Before I sign off today, I just want to remind you guys that it's about the journey, it's about the process, it's about those hundreds or thousands of little steps that help you get to your end goal. And don't forget to focus on your bigger picture and then break that down. Breaking down your goals is always a way to go. It makes it less overwhelming and makes things actually attainable. And remember that things take time and there's no such thing as overnight success. That wraps up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time. Happy planning, happy new year, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.